Hi guys, welcome back to Bunny Brick Design. So as you can see, I've got my beading tray set up, and as you can see, I've started designing out from Bargain Bead Box a galaxy of gems. And so I've already done one pair of earrings. This one I'm going to show you. Let me just move the camera here, just adjusting. This one was a nightmare to do, honestly. Trying to get all of these chains and everything on here. But I do like how they came out. They're just kind of random placement of all the solar system beads. So those came out really nice. Like I said, they were a pain in the butt to do. Because this chain is so tiny and so hard to cut and so hard to work with. And sorry, I'm trying to get a bunny treats. She's begging at my feet right now. So anyways, what I thought about doing was using up the chain, using up these stars, and doing a necklace. And as you can see, I've kind of placed the stars kind of where I was thinking. And so what I'm thinking about doing is, instead of just hanging them from like one chain, so like this one here is just hung from a single chain, I thought about maybe putting the chain in between two beads, like, so it would look like something like that, and then hanging the star from the center of the chain. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna first string up, well, I'm going to have to figure out how long I want it. So I'm going to string up this first bead, and I'm going to grab some beading wire, string up the first bead, and then I'll figure out the chain length, and then we'll have to figure out, because what I'd like to see is maybe this one down low, this one up higher, and then these down lower. So yeah, so I'm thinking something like that, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this, whether I want to leave the chain all intact and do like this, come down, come over a couple of beads, come down and come over, and then I don't have to cut this apart. I just have to figure out length, or if I want to just do, so for example, I took that center bead and I'm going to string, like, do I cut it like this, put it on, whoops, if I can, whoa, without losing the bead. So we're going to put on the chain on the first side here, and then see how long of a chain I want on the other side. And I am going to do some bead stoppers just so this doesn't get too crazy here, because this is going to be a pain. So I don't know how long I want this. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to hang it here and kind of see, do I want it that long? So just for ha-has, I'm going to pinch this, thread it through one of these chains. And while it doesn't look like anything at the moment, when I pull it together, it does do that. So I think I'm going to want to cut it, just because I don't think I want to have the length of chain that, like, I don't want to zigzag it. I want to separate it a little bit. So I'm going to cut this, if I can cut it here. And see, this is what I hate about this chain. It's so tiny that my pliers don't want to cut. There we go. All right, so I've got the first chain on. Now I'm going to string up some beads and see where I want my next chain, because I was thinking I want the next one probably on, so I'm thinking this one's going to be this guy. So we're here, and so this one's going to be hanging here. I want the next one probably maybe in between this bead here. We'll see. Let's see what that looks like. So we'll do that. We'll string on a bead. And now this is where it's going to get tricky, because now I'm going to have to cut even lengths on this side for the chain. So I'm going to have to mark it. So do I like that? Let's see. Yeah, I like that. Now, I'm going to cut this, and hopefully I have enough chain to do this, because I need a longer one and on this side, and then a longer and a shorter on the other side. So I've cut that. Now I'm going to count chains here, just because I'm going to do this on the other side. So we have 2, 4, 1, 2. So we have 16. So I'm going to count 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And I'm going to cut that right there. And so I'm going to put a bead stopper on this end real quick and string up the other side, just to see what I think of this placement of chain, because I may want to move the chains or space them out a little bit. So I'm going to grab my chain, put on my bead. And it doesn't look like much right now just because there's nothing on the chains, but once we start loading up the chain with the stars, it'll look. And so I'm just going to set that down. Yeah, I do kind of like that. Well, do I? Yes, I like that placement. Now, I wanted the last star to be a little bit longer, and I wanted it to be around this bead here, so around the Saturn bead. So I've put the two beads on, and I want this to be a little bit longer. I may, well, let's see. We'll see what we can do here. Let me put this bead on. These are really interesting because you have to line up the two holes. And that can be a pain in the butt. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my wire in and just kind of moving that this gold spacer around until I can get it to line up. And as you can see, it can be a pain in the butt trying to get it into, there we go. So those don't want to go on very easy. So let's see, how long do we want this side? All right, so I'm going to move my tray up just a little bit, just so I can lay this flat out and figure out, because I do want this one longer. Not necessarily as long as that one, but maybe that's not long enough. Like that. So let's put this in there and see what that looks like. Yep. I think, no, that's about the same length. All right, we're gonna lengthen that up just a hair more. And see, it's still not long enough. Let me go 3, 4 more. And so I'm trying to go for a, that's better. Yep, that's better. So when it hangs, it's a little bit longer. That works. And of course, we're going to be putting drops on it. And so I don't necessarily have to just do the stars. I can do the stars. I can do additional beads. I'm just trying to figure out and that went flying. All right, and hopefully we have enough left to do this last one. So let me count chains. All right, let's see. This is really hard to count like this. 22. All right. So we need 22 on this other side. And I'm going to put it on first and then count, just because I think it'd be easier to hold on to. Oh, wow. And there's not a whole lot of chain left after that. You'll have to forgive me. I'm fighting allergies. I don't know what I got into, but having allergies tonight. And see, so I'm just basically pushing this ring up until I'm over that hole. And then once you get over the hole, it slides on pretty easily. All right. So, and yes, I know these chains look like, oops. Well, good thing those aren't too hard to put on. I forgot my beads. And there's those. And hopefully that one will be easier to get in, and it is not, because it moved. There we go. Ah. See, that's what I get for not paying attention. Chain. All right. Perfect. I do like that. So there's part of my solar system done. As you can see, these chains are a little bit longer than these. Almost the same size as this, but when it's curved, it's not going to be as long. Now, I've got the remainder of my design. And I'm going to put these on and then see how long this is to decide how many more sets I want. So I'm going with the oranges. I've got the blues and different colors here. And I don't like that bead. So I'm switching. You'll forgive me. I'm switching beads here, because that one to me looks like it's the wrong kind. And same with that one. I want more of the lighter, brighter blues, if I can find it. Again, there we go. There's one there. And with more white in it, just because I'm trying to do one of those, one of the ones that are the lapis and chrysocolla, and then the sodalite, and then the blue goldstone. I love these beads. They look like little glitter beads. Sometimes though I wish they were a little bit lighter, just so that you could see the sparkles a little more. All right, let's get this side beaded up, and then we will get the other side beaded up. And then we will put the charms on just so I can see how those are going to set up. I may grab my larger jump rings because I don't want the small jump rings to, I want the stars to be able to move around quite easily. Ooh, that one's got a chip in it. So when I say that, like, I was just looking at it, and I don't know if you can see this bead here. It's got a flat spot right there on it. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of got a divot in there. So I don't know if I'm going to use that bead, just because I always worry about, you know, having perfect beads, especially for something I'm going to sell. I try to give everybody like the best possible jewelry that I can. All right. So now I'm just going to clamp that on. Yes, and see that's getting there quite nicely. So now let me grab some jump rings, some larger gold jump rings, and I have my jump rings around here somewhere. I think these are the right. Yeah, those will work. I need 5 of those. And so all I'm going to do is I'm not actually going to go through the chain. I'm just going to set these. So like I'm going to pick up my center star and I'm going to go through my center chain, but I'm going to go around the chain so that it's not necessarily on the chain. So it's kind of floating free. So this can move. So this will be able to move around depending on, and I don't know, that might be too big of a jump ring. I worry about the star because the star is very, tiny, and trying to get the jump ring in the point. I don't want it to lock in. So like when you close the jump ring, it would lock in, but this might be the right size. Let's see how this looks on there. Oh yeah, that's cute. All right, I'm going to do that. I may also put something, I think I'm going to alter this a little bit just because That jump ring is annoying me. So I think what we're going to do is, just because the star is getting lost, so I think I'm going to put that on a eye pin, and I'm going to take the pretty bicone, and I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have eye pin. Well, maybe I have smaller eye pins here. Yes, I've got all my trays out, or my things out setting. Yeah, that'll work. And those have got nice heads for the star. So we'll just do that, and that should hold that nicely. And we'll make a nice round loop here. And I don't know if that's going to have to be twisted or not, but and so the reason why I'm not using my loopers on this one is I want bigger loops than I would get with the loopers. And see, this one's going to give me fits. There we go. So if I hang that, nope, that's got a twist. All right, there we go. Yes, yes. All right, so let me get my star on. And as I always tell you, don't be afraid to change your design if you look at something and you're not quite sure of it. Tweak it a little bit, because you may have a great idea, but that one element may be causing you what I like to call heartburn. And if you tweak it, it'll work out just fine. And so your original design will be perfect. Now I'm going to try to get this on the chain here without going through the chain. There we go. Just because I do want this to kind of float free. All right, and so that will hang like that. Oh, I like that. See, I really like that. And see, so my star's kind of floating free. It's not really hanging in the points, but that's fine. Oh, there we go. It's hanging in the point there. So, all right, so I'm going to do that for all of my other ones. Make nice big long loops here. I'm going to try to make a bigger loop on this one just because I want a really nice big loop to go around. Granted, not that big, but there we go. Turn that around. And I'm going to pause you. I'm going to make all of these, and then we'll hook them up. All right, so I got them all, and I actually attached the stars to them just so it would be a little quicker for video purposes. You didn't need to watch me attach stars. So now I am going to attach these to the chain, and then we'll finish up this necklace. And then I'm thinking I'm probably going to need to do an additional, at least an additional blue set and maybe another gold set, as I'm going to call this gold, in order to get this the length that I need. And I may fill in with some smaller beads, maybe some moonstones. I'm not sure. So I'm just trying to get this clamped down. Because this is not wanting to close for me. There we go. It was just caught on the bead. All right, so there we go. So there's two. So the way I did this was I alternated large star, small star. So I don't know if you got the kit or the box. You'll know that you've got some larger stars, some smaller stars. And so I'm just trying to alternate, and I know this is probably really hard for you to see. I'm just trying to close these loops around the chain and under the bicone. Just so, like, if I wanted to, they could slide. They're not going to slide a whole lot, but they'll slide a little bit on the, on the chain, so you can adjust them. And yeah, so there's 3. And yes, there's that. And I think that looks really cute. And we've got our other large star here and our last small star there. Now also too, if you don't like how they hang these, hang off of the chain with just the eye pins, you could add a jump ring. I could add a jump ring to the eye pins, or I could just count the right number of spaces and hang it off of one of the individual chain links and have it not go anywhere. But I didn't really want to do that, just in case, I wanted it to kind of float free and be like, stars in the sky. They look like they're floating free and they move, depending on what time of night. I'm sure you've all gone out and looked at stars and noticed that, the star that you were looking at, you look at a constellation and it might be in the eastern sky early in the evening, and then later at night, 1-2 o'clock in the morning, it's now moved closer to the western sky, as, night wears on. So I'm kind of trying to, mimic, real life. Ooh, I really like that. I think that's really fun. All right, so now I'm going to add another set of these blue beads. And that's going to be sparkly goldstone. And I've also got a pair of earrings here that I'm probably going to do with you on camera on this one. I'm trying to use these all up because in maybe a week or so, we're going to be getting the new bargain bead box and the new curated bead box. And so I'm trying to use them up. So this video is probably going to come out probably after I receive the latest bargain bead box, because right now I'm recording this. It's the 29th, 30th tonight, and I've already posted videos for the next several days that they're scheduled to come out. Like, I think I post Mondays and Thursdays, my videos, and so I've already got Mondays and Thursdays this week, and I think Monday's next week. So this one's probably going to come out Thursday, and that'll be right around the time when I'm getting the new bead box. All right, so I'm just holding it up. I need to go one more set of, I think, yellows, and then I should be good. Or do I want to, because I could put spacer beads. Do I have extra gold spacer beads? Of course I do. So those round spacer beads, I can put, and I'm just pulling out my spacer beads. And just got an idea of maybe putting those in there. But I would have to take all of this off to do that. And that would not be fun. Although it would look really good, though. Because I do have a lot of spacer beads, just not... I mean, those are the right color, just not the right size. I wonder if maybe we do this one and this one, these. Well, what do you think, guys? I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna swap out spacer beads just because I don't want to use these. I want to use these and save the other ones for additional. And I think this would make it a little bit more fun because they're the Stardust spacer beads. So you've got, you know, your Stardust. And so, we'll put our spacer bead on. And of course, that chain, thankfully it hasn't pulled out. And you'll get to see how to make those beads work an awful lot. All right, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to see what that looks like compared to... Do I like that? I'm not sure I like that. I think I like those other beads better. So we may just use up all of those beads, use these sparkle beads for something else. And again, yes, I change my mind quite often when I'm designing. But I think it also, changing while I'm designing also helps me from having to look at something, you know, because I've known beaders that'll be like, oh, but this is the design I decided, I'm going to commit to it, even if I really don't like it. And then, you know, if I don't like it, I'll just take it apart later and redo it. And I'd rather redo it while I'm working on it. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. I'm going to save these sparkle beads for something else. I'd rather redo it while I'm working on it. Figure out what I like, what I don't like, because usually I end up putting it away and then pulling it out. So what I usually do before I post things for sale is I will keep I'll keep them in a bin of finished items, and I will be like, okay, I'll price these later, and then I'll usually get, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 items. And sorry if I'm not on camera here because I'm at the edge of the table. I'll usually get 20, 25, 30 items in a bin, and I'll set them aside, and I won't price them, and I won't look at them or do anything with them for at least a month, and then I'll go back and revisit and make sure I still like what I designed. And usually you know, if I forget that I've done something, I'll go back later and I'll be like, oh wow, I can't believe I made that. That's so pretty. And so, yeah, so sometimes I surprise myself. Something I wasn't really sure I liked to begin with. Later on when I go back and look at it after a while. And then there have been a couple of things that, you know, I've put in my, what I call my reclamation pile, because I've looked at them and I've been like, oh, I can't stand the way that looks. It's got to go. So, all right, so we're going to move these beads aside. And I need to add at least an inch on either side. And I'm debating whether I want to do just gold or if I want to do another set of these colors, because it's going to be on the back of the neck where nobody sees. And so I really don't want to put, I really don't want to put the, you know, the really nice beads up there, because really nobody, it's in the back of the neck, so nobody's going to see it. And I don't like that. So we are going to go with good beads, just cause. I'm not liking, we'll just do a set of, and while that may use up more of these beads, I think it's going to be worth it. And then that will make this a perfect necklace, because that will be the perfect length. And well, yes, I always measure for my neck. Oops, I already have one of those on there. I always measure for my neck. I have an average size neck, I guess. And then again, that's why I always do extender chains. I have more silver extender chains on order because I am out. And while I do have chain I can cut up, I like the extender chain because I can usually just grab a chain and, oh wow, that one's got so many little holes in it that you couldn't tell where the actual drill hole was. That's the other thing with lava beads. If you can tell a real lava bead from a fake lava bead, because real lava beads are not uniform and their holes are not uniform. Fake lava beads have uniform holes. All right. Okay, so now I need to get some crimping. So I am just pulling apart all my trays and pulling them out, which is fine. And then I need a necklace finding. So I am just going to grab one. Or I'm going to grab a little baggie of them. Just because. And going to get a couple of crimp beads here. So there's one. There's two. And I need a... And I should have some of those that are open. And for some reason, there's one. There's one. And yeah, there's a few. All right. One. And that, nope, that one's a smaller one. There we go. Those two are the same size. So they also make different, they make different size wire guardians too. So just keep that in mind when you're buying them. You can get different sizes for different size wires. All right, and I am going to crimp this side. Here. And then we are going to slide this. Get that on there, and then we're going to do this side. I really like this necklace, and so before I end this video, we are going to do the one pair of earrings that I wanted to show you. I've seen, and I don't know what I did with my wire guardian. I lost the wire guardian. It's probably hooked. It probably hooked on something. But that's what we got this one for. So, wait, that's the smaller one. Let me pull out another wire guardian that's the same size. If I have it. Well, I think this one will work. It's just open. Or that one. Or is it on the floor? I tend to lose things a lot when I'm beading, just because I'm still getting used to the new workspace, and I have a little dip here because one table's a little wider than the other, and I'm still trying to learn how to work in the more narrow space because this is more narrow now than what I'm used to. But it's also wider. Ooh, that one went right on into the crimp bead, which is why I didn't want that little one. Let me see. There's my bigger ones. Yes. Yeah. Are those bigger? Maybe. So that's the other thing you have to watch out for is when you have spacer beads with big holes, sometimes your crimp beads can get lost in them, or your wire guardians. All right, we're just going to weave that into a couple of those. Well, there's two. That's fine. Let's go in one more. And then I can pull this tighter. And just make sure it's not super, super tight. And then I'm going to crimp this. Make sure that doesn't pull. And there is a little space there, but that's fine because I don't want the chain to be super, super tight in there. I want those to be loose, which is fine because what we can do is just make sure that chain has space there. And there we go. And now I'm going to put my lobster claw on, and I've got a couple small jump rings there. Test out my lobster claw. Excuse me. All right, so there's that side. I'm going to pause you for a minute. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just had to go get a drink of water just because, yeah, my throat was just scratchy. It's been rainy here, so I think part of it is, you know, it's spring. Well, it's not even spring. It's, you know, I know it's still January, but it's been like 50 degrees and rainy here. So I think that's part of the problem. Like the mold outdoors. All right, there we go. So I'm going to put this on the mannequin and then I will show you how it hangs. I really like these little star dangles. I think they're adorable. So this is what it's going to look like hanging on the mannequin. So you've got your stars, you've got your planets, you've got Saturn there. So that's definitely a galaxy of gems. It may not be all the planets, but you know, I think it looks really nice. And so that's a necklace with the kit. And so we're going to do a pair of earrings before I end this video because I saw this or somebody do this and I thought it was really interesting, which was asymmetrical. You know, it was an asymmetrical pair of earrings, and I thought, you know, I'm a big proponent of everything being uniform and everything being, you know, mirrored. So like one side, like, so if you have a pair of earrings, you've got the one side does one thing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang this on a pair of ear wires. So let me grab a pair of ear wires here. Let me find my gold ear wires. So I'm just going to grab some that I have from another kit. And so what it is on one of them, I'm going to hang the sun and then this and a charm. So that's going to be the one. And then on the other one, I'm going to hang the bead, then the sun, and then the charm. So it'll kind of be offset a little bit. So I've made the first bead. I'm going to grab another eye pin here and make the second bead drop. And again, I don't know which way these need to be turned for hanging correctly. So we'll adjust as we need. That may be a little too long. There we go. All right, so if that is hanging, that needs to hang like that. So these two need to be twisted like that. All right, so I am going to put my first charm on here. And I'm going to close this guy up. And then we are going to put on the charm on the bottom of this, if I can get that on there, because that one's got a thick. So these charms didn't come with the bargain bead box. They actually came out of my stash. I decided I was looking around for something that was space themed. And what I thought was really cool was that these were enameled, and they were in my enamel charms. And they're kind of like greenish blue, which kind of goes with the greenish blue lapis chrysocolla. And so I thought that's pretty cool. So that needs to go on that way. All right. So I'm just trying to figure out which way to hang. And so there is earring number 1. So that's the sun, earth, and the moon. And then earring number 2 is going to get the charm that's going to hang off of the... And actually, I didn't think about this when I was designing this, because now I'm going to need a jump ring in there, but that's fine. If they're too mismatched, I'll switch them around, but that's kind of what I wanted, was to be about the same length, but and I could always put a jump ring on there, but I'm going to use just a tiny jump ring for that. And yes, I know, I'm using my nails. And so it needs to sit on like that. Which is why I used to have a thumbnail and I don't anymore, because I had to cut it off because I ripped it. Alright, so, and that is backwards, of course. But that's easy to fix, because what we can do is just open this guy up and swap this whole thing around. And then we are going to adjust that guy so that it's pointing the right way. Yes, yes. All right, so there's one. There is 2 mismatched earrings. I think that's kind of fun, and so that's perfect, and they're actually about the right length. So yeah, so there's a pair of earrings, slightly not the right length. I'm wondering if we should, well, no, because I need that like that. Anyways, there's a pair of earrings and a necklace. I'm gonna think on those earrings for a little bit. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to get back to designing with the rest of this, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.